Hello, friends. I'm here with a reading for you today. We're just gonna kind of go with the flow and see what the cards have to tell us. See if there's anything good to talk about. So I invite you to take a deep breath and invite the energies that would be helpful to you today into our space. And if any of this is resonant, please take it. If it's not resonant, if it's not resonant, I invite you to leave it behind. I believe that you should trust your inner knowing about anything that you read or hear or think even. There's something inside that knows. That knows the deep truth of everything. And learning how to listen to that has been one of the most best things that I've done for my life. So initially we have a card sort of fell out. How about that? So this would be the Ace of Cups, joy. So if you know the tarot, the cups are all about, well, this deck calls them horns. But if you know about tarot, the cups are all about our emotional life, sort of the things that flow beneath the surface, you know? And the Ace of Cups sort of encapsulates all that is possible in a fulfilling emotional life. Joy, really. It's a good thing, joy. And I think that a lot of us, we don't seek joy. We don't seek true joy. We seek maybe comfort, or we seek our fleeting desires in the moment, or we seek what we think other people want us to be focusing on. And we try and do all these things without really sitting and experiencing them. We're constantly chasing. We're chasing all these experiences. We're chasing these products. We're chasing these things that are supposed to bring us joy. But when we get these things, a lot of the time we fail to sit and appreciate. We fail to sit and even be in the moment with these things. And so they just keep compiling. They just keep piling up, These experiences, these shoulds, it never gets us to a place of joy. It never gets us to that place that we're actually trying to get to, which is a satisfaction in our emotional life, really. Or in our spiritual life, whatever feels right about that for you. But I think the important thing here really is that if we are not noticing where there is joy in our lives, if we're not noticing, we're taking a lot of things for granted, and a lot of our energy is being spent pointlessly, because if you're not enjoying the fruits of your labor, if you're not able to sit and look and say, oh wow, okay, well, I wanted this thing, I wanted this relationship, I wanted this dress, I wanted this experience, whatever, I wanted this, and now it's over, and what do I want next? What we need to do is we need to say, oh wow, look, this has happened, this is here for me because I asked for it. And that's amazing, and that's cool. However it may have come to be, it's wonderful that we've asked for something, and here it is. Poof, we've got it. And so part of that is really witnessing it, is being there and seeing it and saying, wow, thanks. You know, just be grateful. And really notice when those things appear in your life and take a moment to celebrate them. I don't know. I think I'm always sort of trying to tell people to celebrate, man. Celebrate the little moments. Celebrate whatever you can find to celebrate. That strengthens us. And that's really important because there's challenges. We have a lot of challenges right now. We're shining a lot of light on some stuff. Our next card is one of my favorites. This one's called the Hanged One. Look, you can see it's I love it. It's this one's a possum hanging from from its tail from a branch. And you'll notice it's not the Hanged Man, you know, because we're over that. The Hanged One. All right, so this one, you know, this card is very interesting. It's a Major Arcana card, which means it's one of the big ones. You know, it's one of the big important guys. So when one of these shows up, I like to pay extra attention. You know, we really want to talk about it. So the Hanged One, boy, there's a lot of symbolism in that one. So it's I'll focus just mainly on in the context of what I think our conversation is today. So what comes to mind for me, sort of mythologically, is Odin, the Norse god Odin. And he was real big on wisdom and knowledge and you know, spiritual experience, spiritual exploration, and he was willing to sacrifice everything for that. He was willing to sacrifice his own life. He was willing to sacrifice his eye, his comfort, and that sounds crazy, right? You know, like for knowledge, he was sacrificing this stuff so that he would know the secrets of the universe. And not all of us are prepared to do that. Not all of us are prepared to lose an eye. But he was prepared to hang on a tree for 9 days and 9 nights so that he could learn the secrets of the universe, the secrets of the runes more specifically, but the secrets of the universe. The runes hold the secrets, you know, the mysteries, you know, according to their lore. So for me, what I think it's saying to us in this context is that in order to really experience joy, you have to be willing to go all in. You have to be willing to make certain sacrifices. You know, you have to really like risk it for the biscuit, if you want to use that metaphor. Because out there in those sort of extreme places, you know, the places where you're not sure what's going to happen next, where you can't know what the next step is, where you sort of have to trust that despite the fact that you don't know exactly how things are going to happen or how things are going to work out, you're going to do them, you're going to act, you're going to live. And we get very caught up in our own ideas and our own minds and sort of these sort of a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise that makes it hard for us to really know what it is that would be the right next step, you know? Like what is it that we need to do in order to create whatever it is that we're attempting to create? And so a lot of that is risky. It feels like a risky, dangerous place to be. But it's no more dangerous than the places we put ourselves when we act in fear either. The places we put ourselves, from my experience, when I've acted in fear, I've put myself in the worst positions. I've put myself in relationships that did not serve me, relationships, in fact, that hurt me deeply. And that's not a good place to make a life choice from, or any choice. That's our dog barking. Hello, say hello to Scoop. So anyway, what I'm getting at with the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man, or the Hanged One, excuse me. God, it's that internalized misogyny. What are we gonna do? The Hanged One, for me, represents really being willing to risk it all for what you feel is important. There's Scoop. For what you value, for what you deeply, deeply love, for what you deeply find worth living. What is so worth existence to you that you're willing to sacrifice everything else for it? And I mean, I know that sounds crazy, like sacrifice everything for what? Well, and it can't be, like, you got to really feel it. You got to really know what that is. But you don't know what that is. You can't know what that is until you figure out what brings you joy, because I really think that's the arrows that point you towards. We got some squirrel activity. It's crazy in these woods today. But those are the arrows that point us to where we really want to be. So I'm not telling you to just pick something and go all in and ruin your whole life for something that you just decide. You gotta really excavate and figure out what that is. And so what I'm saying to you is, when you feel those moments of joy, see if you can't surrender. Become the Hanged Man. Surrender to the moment that brings you joy. Surrender to the feelings in that moment. And just feel it in your body. And you would be amazed at what the body will tell you about what the next steps are on your path. Oh. So, what I learned recently? This is the star. The star is a beautiful card. I love the star. Something I figured out recently, very recently, is, my whole life I've had these dreams. I've had these ideas, these sort of desires, these deep longings to be a creative person, to be an artist, to be a preacher. Like I've felt the call of these things that have always excited me and pulled me towards them. And looking around, I thought, well, that is impossible. Looking around, I was like, well, those are just wishes. Those are just wishes and dreams, and who cares? Like that can't be me. That couldn't be me. That I am fooling myself if I think that I am worthy of these dreams and wishes. But what I decided to do, after a long time of, exploring, I decided, well, I'm going to do them anyway. I said, well, why am I so deeply drawn to these specific things, these certain things? Why do I feel so fulfilled when I'm just sitting out here thinking about God, or when I'm having a conversation with someone about spiritual matters, or, you know, anything like this. And if there's something like that for you, that you're like, man, I just really wish that my destiny was ... I really wish that I was the person who could do this. And you know, there's a reason you feel that way. There's a reason that deep longing is inside of you, and it's because that is what you are meant to be doing. That's what you should be doing. If you deeply desire to be a ferry boat captain, if in your heart of hearts, your soul of souls, you just wish, oh man, if only I could be a ferry boat captain, you know, there's a path for that. You know, like, you could do it. You could create a path to that reality, whatever that reality is for you. The reason you have this deep longing for it is because it is for you. And so the star is telling us that whatever it is, it's agreeing with what I said about the hanged man, really, is that you can't just, like, you know, I'm not saying if your heart and soul, if you're not totally sure that your heart and soul is interested in being a ferry boat captain, well, you got to figure that out. But deep down, there's a part of you that knows what your deepest, darkest, most forgotten childhood desire was. Like, what did you want? What did you want to do as a kid? And in what ways is it possible for you to lean more into that, whatever that is? Like, fearlessly and shamelessly, without any kind of, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, or if I do it, I should do it this way, or, you know, none of that. Just approach it like it's your favorite thing to do. Approach it like it's a thing that brings you joy, because it should bring you joy. If it doesn't bring you joy, you have not found it. And the other side of the hanged one is that the hanged one, you know, sometimes, like, the dark side, I guess, is that we have this tendency, some of us, to sacrifice ourselves for things and people that we, you know, I hate to say shouldn't, I just said don't should on yourself, but that we really shouldn't be aligning to, you know, people who hold us back from our destiny. Or things that hold us back, beliefs. People will sacrifice their joy for a religion. Altogether, it seems to me that what we're talking about is that life does require a certain level of surrender, and trust, because otherwise you will be too afraid to really dare to imagine the most wonderful, amazing things that you could imagine. And I don't know, if you're not into that, then, you know, who cares? Just go and do whatever you want. But if you feel like you have this thing that is telling you, like, man, I really wish that I was doing this. I wish I could live a life as an artist. I wish I could live a life as a tarot card reader. I wish I could live a life as a gardener. I wish I could live a life as whatever. You can. You can. And it might mean a lot of sacrifice. You might have to uproot your entire life. You might have to do many uncomfortable things in order to get to your truest desire. So you have to know what that is. I mean, you don't have to know. Maybe it'll be a fun experience to not know. A lot of people do that, you know. They thrust us out of high school. They say, okay, pick a career path, pick a college, decide what you're going to do when you grow up. And I don't know about you, but I'm still like, I don't know. When I grow up, how about not? Can I not grow up? Is that an option? Well, it is. It is an option. It's absolutely an option. You can ungrow up. You can find what brings you joy, despite the fact that everything around you may be saying that joy is wrong, or that it's frivolous, or that it's not important. No, forget that. Forget all of that. And I think that a really truly fulfilling life starts when you decide that you're going to fully participate. And I suppose it doesn't matter what you choose to participate in, as long as you are fully participating, as long as you are not thinking about something else while you're supposed to be enjoying what you're currently doing. I remember somebody told me this story, and I cannot, it was a long time ago, something about a pastor, and when he was in church praying to God, he would be thinking about making love to his wife. And when he was at home making love to his wife, he would be thinking about how he should be at church praying to God. And so he's like never doing the thing that he's doing. His mind is elsewhere. He's not experiencing any of that. And if when he was praying to God, he was thinking about praying to God, then that would be, he would be fully in that. That would be the experience. And that's how it could be with any experience. Like, being fully present is it's not as hard as we make it seem. It's just a practice. It's a body practice. And so I think that's another teaching of the Hanged One, is that sacrificing your body as sort of a metaphor, that seeing what your body is made of, that kind of thing, it sort of puts us into a feeling mode as opposed to an analyzing mode. And that's really where we want to be. And if you even look at the symbolism of, the head is below the body. And I think that that's symbolic of letting the wisdom of the body lead you instead of trying to figure it out in your mind, because the mind is so bogged down with all these ideas, all this craziness, if you sit there and you watch your mind, you're like, what in the heck is all this noise? Sometimes I'm like, God, can you just shh? A moment of just, wouldn't that be nice? And you get that when you become embodied. That's the thing. You can't think thoughts away. You can't keep thinking thoughts away. It doesn't work like that. That's silly. If you really want to, if you want to experience, you got to get into body instead of mind. Like, this is a great tool. There's a lot of good things that this guy has done for us and continues to do. But that's not all that there is to this, and it's not always the best way to figure out the next step, because we get bogged down and because we get messed up. And if you're always looking at your highest vision, if you're looking up at your highest potential, your highest vision, I don't know, it's like that corny old saying, shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. So basically, what I'm trying to say here, what the cards are trying to say, is find, look, we got a lot of water here. Find what feels joyful to you in your body, in your heart. And that will lead you to what you really can sink your teeth into. Because if you haven't found that yet, you can find it. And it just takes a little bit of creative feeling. And if it doesn't bring you joy, then maybe see if something else does. And just experiment, because we have a lot of freedom to do that. It's okay to experiment. Thank you for listening to my tarot reading. I hope it was enlightening and that it resonated a little bit. If you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments. Thanks for being here. I'm the disreputable Reverend Hannah Winters.